Speaking of which, has anybody here ever actually looked into how easy it is to get on the ballot and run for public office? If you want to really fuck things up in a way that's going to get some attention from the people who most need the pitchfork in their butts, run for office sometime. I did. And I come from Boulder, Colorado originally, and there people have a long history of running for office on a whim or as a prank or something. You'd open up a newspaper for a city council election one year and see all those glossy airbrush photos of all these smiling people wanting to rip you off, and then in the middle of it, a guy named John Davenport with a pirate hat and eye patch and his teeth blacked out. Saying that he was going to ban cars from Boulder, and I can't remember most of his other platform because he had some novel solutions to the police problem and things like that. So later on, moved out to San Francisco, got a band going, and in our early days, me and the first drummer for Dead Kennedys, were riding to a Pierre Ubu concert. I was folded up in the back of his Volkswagen Bug, and he was saying, "Yeah, Biafra, you got such a big mouth, you should run for president." No, run for mayor. Mayor election was coming up, so I thought, aha, I think I will. And the more I thought about it, the more I felt, oh God, this is going to be one of the best pranks I've ever done. I mean, we should never give up our love for pranks. Creative crime is not only good for the soul in this day and age, it's necessary. Anyway, by the time I got to the club, I was all full of the idea, yeah, guess what, everybody? I'm running for mayor. So what? What are you going to do? Oh, good question. So then while Pierre Ubu played, I wrote out my platform on a napkin with felt pens, so it kind of dripped into this, like, Slayer album cover drippy writing or something. And we were on our way. Next day, we had to go down to City Hall and, hi, I want to run for mayor. What should I do? I think what you do is you file, I'm trying to remember back this far now, you file a declaration of candidacy and take out petitions. And if you get so many names of registered voters on the petition, then you're in. Or in the case of San Francisco, you can simply pay the difference and buy your way onto the ballot, too. A filing fee. Not only that, in San Francisco, you can be mayor at age 18, but you have to wait till you're 26 to get a license to drive a cab. So we got some petitions out, and we figured we were going to have to register everybody to get all our friends legal to vote so they could sign the petitions, because we didn't know whether anybody else would. So we took a crate of voter registration cards, went around town signing up people to vote, and no, really, this is going to be fun. Do it. And we threw a benefit to raise money to make up the discrepancy in the filing fee. And then went back to City Hall on the last possible day of the deadline to turn the petitions in. It was a madhouse there, people running in, giving petitions to people standing in line. One of the workers for one of the main candidates, Quentin Kopp, elbowed past everyone, trying to get in front. After all, he was a serious candidate. Ho, ho, ho. I was, meanwhile, kneeling down in the middle of the floor trying to write out my platform and cut words out so it would fit in the voter registration pamphlet. We turned in the petitions, got all the cash out of our pockets, crossed our fingers, and sure enough, we were in. And what it means to be a legal candidate rather than a write-in candidate is you're entitled to equal time. Under the equal time laws that were passed after Watergate and Reagan and Bush have been trying to get rid of ever since. Equal time laws means if the two big candidates or one of the big candidates gets on a TV show to tell you how great they are, they have to invite everybody on. And if the fur coats up at Grace Cathedral in Nob Hill are having a highbrow candidates meeting where everybody gives their spiel and all the fat cats decide who to support and whatnot, they have to invite all the candidates and let all their friends in, too. I got newspaper coverage. I got on TV. They had to let me on the radio. let me on mass mailing lists, and I even got in the voter information pamphlet that goes out to every single registered voter, where you could look up candidates for mayor, and one would send in, the typical one would be something like this. Dianne Feinstein. My occupation is mayor of the city and county of San Francisco. My qualifications for office are experience, native San Franciscan, more than 10 years public service. Leadership, committed to working closely with all San Franciscans. Very committed, as it turned out, after all the police spying scandals came out later. Building unity and providing equitable services vital to all neighborhoods. She tripled the bus fares. Continue firm control over spending on essential services. Essential services, no, but she left the biggest budget deficit in the city's history. Better management of downtown growth, strong economy, the usual Feinstein bullshit. All the people who got this also got to read this. My occupation is vocalist for Dead Kennedy's punk rock group. My qualifications for office are: I don't want to see San Francisco's spirit muzzled in the name of law and order and tourist dollars. I will ban automobiles from the city limits. Thank you, John Davenport. And legalize squatting in all buildings left vacant for tax write-off reasons. Something the owner of the San Francisco Giants is notorious for. Do you know who State Senator Quentin Kopp is? Her main opponent, this 6'4" guy who looks like Charles Nelson Riley on speed and flaps his arms when he talks. And, so you're the man. Hi. Oh, God. I mean, have you ever seen a picture of him? He really is what he looks like. Let's put it that way. Anyway, they were both talking about how they were going to bring government out from behind closed doors. I thought, great, I will too. We will auction off all high city positions like police chief and utilities commissions and stuff in the Civic Center Square instead of behind closed doors and smoke-filled rooms. And create a legal board of bribery to set fair and standard rates for liquor licenses, building code exemptions, police protection, and protection from the police. Another big one on Feinstein's list was cleaning up Market Street, the main downtown thoroughfare. One end of Market Street is a badass neighborhood called the Tenderloin. And the other end of Market Street is an even more badass neighborhood containing the headquarters of Bechtel, Bank of America, office buildings owned by many oil companies, and savings and loan associations. So I said, yeah, we need to clean up this part of Market Street. Require all businessmen downtown to wear clown suits between the hours of 9 and 5. For some reason, to this day, whenever anybody writes up my mayor campaign, even like they did then, that was the only part of my platform they ever mentioned. I mean, some of the others I thought were a little more practical. I really thought these were practical, like the squatting in unoccupied buildings. Police officers required to run for election every 4 years, voted on by the people they patrol. And Feinstein had been mayor less than a year. Why? The earlier mayor, a reform mayor who tried to reform one of America's most corrupt police departments, the SFPD, was shot to death by an ex-cop in his office at City Hall. Dan White, American hero. Yes, you've heard of him then. You know about this? George Moscone, Mayor Moscone, Dan White. You know, the guy who looked like Steve McGarrett, and he was a cop, he was an ex-fireman, he was a compulsive gambler with a taste for expensive sports cars. Anyway, he was on the Board of Supervisors and then, getting elected on a Rid San Francisco of Deviance platform. And just his luck, one of the other people elected the same year was the guy who instantly was put in prominence as one of the leading gay politicians in the world, Harvey Milk. Great movie about him out. They've got a video store, Life and Times of Harvey Milk. You should check it out sometime. White later resigned from the Board of Supervisors because the money wasn't good enough. He was losing money